Hello guys and welcome back to round number 5 of the F1 2018 Ferrari career mode. We had a disappointing race last time out in Azerbaijan. Let me know down in the comments what you think we're going to do in today's race. Are we going to improve on that P5 or are we going to have another terrible race? Yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying this series so far and well, it's been a reasonable start. We've had our first victory of the season and Ferrari have decided to renegotiate our contract. So yeah, we've tried to put a little race bonus, a simultaneous development and a pit stop efficiency perk in our contract. Hopefully we can get that. I'm not too sure whether we can. No, we can't. Not first time anyway. So we're going to remove the pit stop efficiency one. I definitely want the simultaneous development perk to stay in. Same with the race bonus because we want as much development as possible against Mercedes. And sure enough, that was successful and we have got our new contract. So regarding the development, speaking of that, unsurprisingly, Mercedes have made a massive leap forward this weekend. As I said in the last episode, very much expected that to happen. Red Bull, though, still no upgrades for them, so they'll be waiting yet another race to bring upgrades, so they should be significantly slower than us. But without further ado now, let's get in to qualifying.
Here we are at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the start of today's qualifying session. It won't be long now until we're ready to join the action down at trackside.
Here we go then. It's all or nothing on this one qualifying lap. Haven't got anything in the bank at the moment. So as we come across the line, we are in P10. Our one and only qualifying lap of Q3. It's our teammate on pole position, so this really is a high pressure environment, trying to live up to our new contract at Ferrari and make sure that we're not deemed as the second driver. As we come through the first couple of corners, pretty nice, and keeping it as flat out as possible. A little lift through turn 3, but not too much as we come towards the end of sector 1. And as we brake underneath the Pirelli board, we haven't got a time delta compared to our teammate because it's only showing his full lap time. But it's purple on the track, so I assume it was a purple first sector. Either way, it's looking pretty good. It's been a very tidy lap so far. We were nice through turn 5, and hopefully it can be the same through 6 and 7. There is a little bit of a bump between turns 7 and 8, sorry. Not sure whether you guys have noticed that, but pretty much flat out through turn 9 and onto the DRS as we come towards the end of the second sector. We are 44 thousandths of a second, hashtag blessed or what, as Vettel actually goes even quicker. So it's going to be very difficult now to get it on pole position, but hopefully we can land it on the front row. It's been a very tidy lap. I don't believe I really could have got anything more out of the car so far as we come into the final chicane. Always a difficult one to negotiate and take as much speed as possible in, but it's flat out through the final corner. Drain that ERS battery as much as we can, and we come across the line. And where is it going to put us on the grid? 5th place. That's not what we were looking for whatsoever. And well, that's not a good start to the weekend, especially when you're seeing your teammate on pole position. Yeah, that's not what we wanted. So yeah, it's him ahead of Bottas on the front row. Once again, a pretty good qualifying for Valtteri, with Ricciardo and Verstappen making it an all Red Bull second row. And we are just ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So even though Red Bull haven't brought any upgrades this weekend, still a very good qualifying for them. There you can see Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez make it a very poor time for Force India, especially considering as they won the last race.
Good afternoon from a very familiar setting. It's race day here in Spain, and with everything still to play for in the championship battle, there's no room for mistakes in a Grand Prix that's well known for creating them.
It is time for the race then, and what a massive one this could be. We're quite a way behind our teammate Sebastian Vettel in the championship, especially after a poor round last time out. So 13 points is the gap currently. We're going to have to try and bring that down, especially as we're only 4 races into the season. But fortunately, Bottas is quite a way back, so it looks as if we should have that second place nailed down, providing we can get a good race here. So as we go to the 5 red lights now, ready for the 5th race of the season here in Spain, and it's lights out and away we go. We're going to have to try and dispatch of those 2 Red Bulls as quickly as possible, but I think we're going to be looking behind before we're looking ahead, because it was a poor getaway from us once again. Lewis Hamilton trying to get past, but we brake late into turn 1 and trying to go around the outside of the Red Bull that then switches to the inside for turn 2, and we've gone around the outside of Max Verstappen, I believe that is. Yes, indeed it is. And we are up into P4 after the first sector. So a pretty good start. We've dispatched of one of the 2 Red Bulls so far. So our next target has got to be Daniel Ricciardo. It's going to be interesting to see whether that Red Bull, with obviously a lack of pace compared to the Mercedes and the Ferrari, with having no upgrades so far, to see whether that Red Bull can keep pace with the 2 ahead of it. If not, we really are going to have to get past him as soon as possible. But coming out of turn 9, a massive tank slapper. That's not going to help us whatsoever, no matter what ERS setting we are on. So we're going to have to stick behind Ricciardo for the meantime, but hopefully that won't be for too long. Going on to lap 3, you can see Vettel storming away into the distance. It's becoming an all too familiar sight this season. Unfortunately, it hasn't been us that's been doing that. We've only finished ahead of Vettel in 1 race out of 4 so far, and it looks as if it's going to be 1 out of 5 if it stays like this. So yeah, it's not looking great so far. Bottas very much holding us up. I feel like we really do have the pace, but it's this exit off the final corner. Once again, it's happening on lap 3. We just can't get the purchase out of that chicane. I think just because of the curbs, you really have to be very precise going through there, and we haven't got that precision, or at least we haven't had it so far in the session, and that means that we can't catch up to Daniel Ricciardo. So on lap 4, you can see, streaking away with this race at the moment is Sebastian Vettel. Just look how far behind Valtteri Bottas is, and he really has got a train of cars behind him now. The rest of the top 6, apart from Vettel, are stuck behind that Mercedes of Bottas. Not sure whether he's got pace issues or whether that Mercedes just isn't looking quick this afternoon in Spain. I think it just seems to suit the Red Bull and Ferrari maybe a little bit more. But him and Daniel Ricciardo decided to come into the pits at the end of lap 5. So quite an early pit stop. They're going to have to do the final 12 laps on 1 set of the soft tyres. And yeah, that is an interesting shout. Very early, a little bit earlier than expected. And definitely earlier than we were planning on coming in. So I believe lap 6, so we've still got 1 more lap to until we come in for our pit stop. But it's going to be interesting to see where they emerge, and it's going to be right in the middle of some traffic. So that is not great strategy if you ask me at the moment. I'm not quite sure how close they are. Okay, it's probably about 2 or 3 seconds until the tail of the Alfa Romeo, which is the next car ahead. But if they do have good pace on the outlap, then maybe they will get stuck in traffic. That's the hope anyway, as we go an extra lap on these tyres. Same goes for Max Verstappen. But Vettel has also come into the pit lanes, but he's far enough ahead so that the Ferrari guys can double stack, or just about. We are held up a little bit though in the pits. Fortunately, our getaway is good this time, because when the green light has come on in previous races, we haven't necessarily gone anywhere. So that has been one improvement for this race at least. Unfortunately, it wasn't the perfect pit stop, and as a result, you can see Ricciardo and Bottas quite a way in the distance, so the traffic hasn't stopped them from having a blistering outlap and well, making quite a gap on us. We've fallen into the clutches of Fernando Alonso, so maybe it wasn't too great a decision to double stack, but it's been better than Max Verstappen's race has gone. His engine is up in flames, and the Renault power unit has yet another failure. So it's a retirement for the Red Bull man. It's been a torrid season for him so far. His teammate Ricciardo's had a good few races, but not the same luck for Verstappen. And that's pretty terrible luck for him, but his teammate is just behind Valtteri Bottas, and they're in a bit of traffic at the moment, stuck behind the Williams car, so maybe this is the chance to pounce for Ricciardo. Obviously that Renault power unit not necessarily having the outright speed on the Mercedes, but he's going round the outside now into turn 10, and well, he's managed to hold it out through the next couple of corners, and a brilliant move from Daniel Ricciardo, moving him up into a net P2. So, well, that Red Bull very much showing its hand. And with Monaco coming up, it could be a very good race for Red Bull, showing in that final sector especially just how much downforce is on that car. But staying on lap 7, as you can see the two of them just ahead, we are now stuck behind Ericsson, who brakes as he's going into the pit lane. That has not done us any good whatsoever. And, well, we are about 3 seconds, I believe, 2.6 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. So we have made up a little bit of time on him. And it looks as if Bottas now has problems because, look, we've caught up that whole 2.5 seconds on him in the space of about half a lap. Admittedly, we have gone purple through the first 2 sectors, but I don't think we're 2.5 seconds quicker than a Mercedes, that is for sure. Bottas must have some sort of issue in this race, so pretty terrible luck for him. As you can see, Alonso is also closing in on us the more we're stuck behind Bottas. And he's a little bit slow through there. Let's see what he's like off the corner. This will tell us exactly what the issue is. Yes, he's very slow off the exit of the corner. So maybe an ERS problem? I'm not completely sure. But nonetheless, we've made our way past Valtteri Bottas up into a net P3. I believe Lewis Hamilton is yet to come into the pit lane. He started on the soft tyres, so it will be quite a few laps before he is in the pits. But now you can see just how slow Valtteri Bottas is. Even the McLaren can get past it in a straight line. Very easy stuff for Fernando Alonso, who goes off into the distance. Actually, Bottas closing in on him as they went further down the straight, showing me that it is probably an ERS problem. You know, him just not being able to get any sort of speed off the exit of the corner. But anyway, further up ahead, we have closed in on Daniel Ricciardo for possibly a net P2, depending on the pace of Lewis Hamilton, of course. I'm not sure exactly what lap times he's been putting in recently, but this will probably be for P2 as we set the fastest lap. And that tells me that we're in a good phase. We're feeling good. We're feeling at one with the car. And Daniel Ricciardo we've dispatched of in at turn 1. We're only 5 races into the season, but already we've had quite a few good battles with Ricciardo. Unfortunately, we've come out on top in this one. And end of lap 12. Now Lewis Hamilton has decided to call it a day on that opening stint. And yeah, quite a long one for him. And it'll be interesting to see exactly where he comes out in this race. Whether it will be further up ahead than we expected or further behind. And sure enough, it is behind us. And is it going to be behind Fernando Alonso? I think it may be. It's going to be very tight between the two of them. The ex-teammates from the 2007 season are going to have a battle by the looks of it. Because, well, Hamilton is going to be extremely quick on those super soft tyres. But the question is it going to be fast enough to dispatch of Fernando Alonso as we skip all the way towards turn 10? And it looks as if he's going to go round the outside, just like Ricciardo did to Hamilton's teammate Bottas. Hamilton very much has the pace on the McLaren. You'd expect him to get past with ease, but still a very classy move from the 4 times world champion. Fortunately, the rest of the race was pretty boring. Vettel took the win, but yeah, I will take that. I will take a P2 as we come out the final corner. No challenge from Ricciardo late on in the race, and it's another podium. Unfortunately, losing more ground to our teammate, but still, another 18 points in the bag from us, showing the pace of this Ferrari, and it is a 1-2 with that man taking yet another victory this season. It's the first man to have won 2 races all season, funnily enough, but it is also the second 1-2 for Ferrari. Obviously, we came out on top in China, and it is Sebastian Vettel who's come out on top here in Barcelona. And a very good P3 once again for Daniel Ricciardo, showing that Red Bull is as quick, if not quicker, than the Mercedes. Despite what the vehicle performance chart shows. So yeah, very good drive from Daniel Ricciardo. And as we get into the full race results, you can see Hamilton managing to keep it in P4 with Alonso and Sainz both getting past Valtteri Bottas. So a torrid afternoon for the Mercedes man who started all the way up in P2. Grosjean, Magnussen and Van Dorn also scoring points. So a very good weekend for McLaren, scoring 13 points all in all. And there you can see the Drivers' Championship. Now we're 21 points behind, but it's early days. We've still got 3/4 of the season left. And importantly, Ferrari are doing very well in the constructors' standings. Almost double the points of the second place team, Mercedes. So yeah, looking pretty ominous for the constructors' standings at this stage of the season.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, the car was good. I'm gonna give the team a little bit of a morale boost by saying it was good, and the Aero team like that.
You must be happy with the result today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy, but I do need to buy a new trophy cabinet. Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to get this many podiums.
That was an epic battle today. How do you think this will play out?
as much as I want to be a showman, that one on the left, the answer on the left, makes me sound like a massive cock, so I'm going to have to go for the other one.
Appreciate your time.
So that is it for another Grand Prix in this career mode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was good fun to record, and I will be back next time for the Monaco Grand Prix. That should be very, very good fun. So yeah, I'll catch you guys then. Do make sure to tune in. Bye-bye.